Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another post game by Mill here on the Big Nick Energy YouTube channel. If you're joining in from Twitter as well, welcome in. We do have an update on Julius Randle's injury. If you didn't see, if you aren't on X/Twitter, Woj just tweeted that Julius Randle has suffered a dislocated right shoulder. And I think that is probably the best outcome we could have expected or wanted because any other outcome would have resulted in a longer recovery and possibly surgery. So it wasn't a tear in his shoulder at all. He just dislocated it, but still it's going to take some time. I've been looking, I've been seeing a lot of people say different things on time. I think that the most common answer I've seen is 4 to 6 weeks out, which it's tough, to lose Julius Randle at all is tough because he's been playing great basketball this season, especially lately. But Mark just asks, what's the timeline? A lot of people are saying a bunch of things on Twitter right now, but the one I've seen the most is 4 to 6 weeks. Google is saying a little bit more, like up to 8-10 weeks, but again, more people that know about this injury have been saying it shouldn't be that long. It should be 4 to 6 weeks, a few weeks, a month. Somewhere around that timeline. And as well, the Star Spangled Man with a Plan said as long as the MRI doesn't show any tears, we'll be okay. Exactly. We just didn't want there to be a tear in his shoulder. We don't want surgery at all. A dislocated shoulder, it's probably the best outcome we could have wanted or expected, but it still sucks. Kareem just said it. It really does suck because I'm gonna assume it's 4 to 6 weeks he's gonna be out, and that's still a lot of time. It's probably the least amount of time compared to any other injury, but it's a long time, and he's been great this season. It sucks to lose him because we don't really have a backup power forward. Precious is playing center, and I guess they're going to probably make OG play the 4 now. If Randle's going to be out for a few weeks, they're going to slide OG to the 4 spot, and they're going to have to figure it out. That's what Tom Thibodeau said, pretty much the next man up. That's how their mentality is right now, because it looks like Randle's going to be out for the next few weeks. 4 to 6 is what I've been seeing a lot of people say. Google does say a few more weeks, like 8 to 10, but I don't really think it'll be 8 to 10. And again, he's a really tough guy. He's a very, very tough player. I definitely think he could push through this and rehab really well. I mean, he literally went through ankle surgery in June. We all know it. We all saw him hurt his ankle before the playoffs last year, and even in the playoffs, he hurt it again. He had ankle surgery in June, and he bounced back this season, and he's been playing great. He really bounced back. I do think he can do the same after this dislocated shoulder. I'm really expecting him to bounce back and fight through it. Someone said, when is the All-Star break? I believe it is February 18th, that weekend. I think that's the first day it starts. I'll look it up for you really quick just so we can all know. Let's see. I heard them say February 18th. Okay, so the All-Star game with the East versus West is February 18th. So it's that weekend. Activities will start on the 16th, that Friday, and then the 17th and 18th. That's the weekend. Stephulius Randle said Curry came back in less than a month last year. Oh, he had the same dislocated shoulder? I'm curious about that. A lot of people are saying 1 month, which sounds crazy to believe because that would be the best outcome right there. 1 month. Especially because we still have All-Star break coming up, so that gives you some time as well. But I'm just hoping it could be something similar to that time range. Ace said, this sucks. It really does. And the Star Spangled Man with a Plan also said, Josh Hart about to get an insane uptick playing like prime Charles Barkley. We're going to see it. Josh Hart is going to be forced to play different positions again. I'm hoping they don't put him at the 4th spot. I would rather OG be put at the 4th spot as a forward. And they're just going to keep pushing. The Knicks have been great. We just won 6 in a row, and we've been dealing with injuries. Literally, we were dealing with Isaiah Hartenstein gone for the past few games, and now it looks like Randle's going to be out for a few weeks. So we're just going to keep pushing through it. I know it really hurts to hear this news, but we still have a lot of great guys on our team that are going to step up. We have a star named Jalen Brunson who has been leading this team through thick and thin, and he's going to continue to do it. I believe in him. I know he can do it. And they just have to figure out the positioning. I assume OG will right now play the forward for the Knicks, and some extra guys, like you pointed out, like Josh Hart, are going to get more minutes. And if Josh Hart can play like how he did tonight for the rest of the season, I'm all for him getting extra minutes and stepping up. Almighty said, good win. I love this team. I know, it was a great win. I immediately started the post game letting everyone know the news that Woj tweeted out Randle dislocated his shoulder, and that was the best outcome we could have asked for. There's no tear. I mean, I don't think there's a tear in his shoulder at all. They probably would have mentioned that, but yeah. So the timeline I've been seeing is 4 to 6 weeks. It's a few weeks he's going to be out, and we can only hope that he rehabs well and does his physical therapy and all of that, because it's tough dislocating. I think I've honestly dislocated my shoulder as well. Like when he dislocated it, it looked like it was completely out there, and that's happened to me as well. And I know a lot of people have dealt with the same thing. They've been through the same thing, and they just pop it right back in. I did the same thing, popped it right back in, and it's nothing for us, but they're basketball players, they're athletes. They take these injuries way more seriously. They don't just pop it back in and well, actually, there would be a few players that would pop it back in and continue playing, but he was in a lot of pain. He went straight to the locker room, and you can tell he was in pain. So they definitely take it a lot more seriously than us regular folks do. And it's definitely going to be a process. It's going to be a few weeks he's going to be out. It's going to be tough. John said, do you think this Randle injury will force the front office to make a trade now? I think that we have to, because we're dealing with a lot of injuries between Hartenstein, who I think still has a lingering injury. Even today, it looked like he re-injured himself. It looked like it was bothering him, his foot or his leg. And yeah, I don't want that to happen. I wish we kind of didn't play him this game, because it looked like it got worse for him. There was a certain play where it specifically looked like it really hurt for him, and he was just hobbling. So I think he's still dealing with that injury, and not to mention Mitchell Robinson's been out for quite some time now. So we're really slacking in certain positions, center position, and now Julius Randle's going to be out. I think we will have to make another trade. We'll have to get someone. Maybe. Let me think about this really quick. I don't want to trade any. I don't know. I'm so conflicted on my thoughts right now, because a lot of our guys have been playing really well. The guys have been stepping up off of the bench, like Grimes, Precious. Everyone's been doing their thing. So I've been hesitant on saying that we still need another trade, even though in the long run, I do think we need another trade for a consistent scorer off the bench, like someone you could really rely on. I mean, don't get me wrong. Grimes has been great, and McBride has had his moments, and Precious and Josh Hart, but I still feel like we need someone that we can rely off of the bench. So you're right, with all the injuries that we're dealing with, especially with Randle, we might have to, even before Randle got hurt, I think they were still thinking about trading for someone. We might have to make that decision now. It's really funny. I saw someone tweet that we should trade for Obi Toppin now. And I think that's funny, because I don't know how likely that is to happen. But I mean, he's doing well in Indiana as well. So I don't think that's going to happen. But he was our backup power forward last season, and he did pretty well. It wouldn't hurt to have him back, but I don't know how likely that is to happen. Kareem said, who starts now? Well, I say they push OG to the 4 spot, and then possibly, I guess you have Josh Hart in the starting lineup. Yeah, I guess it would have to be Josh Hart at the 3. And that's just not a lot of people. Our bench does not have a lot of depth at that point. And you're right. Someone just mentioned it. We're gonna now need to make a trade, because if you have Josh Hart starting now, you still have Grimes and McBride coming off the bench with Precious Achiuwa, but we still need more. We still need other guys. Yeah. So Benjamin just said it'll be Jalen, Donte, Josh, OG, and Hardenstein. And I'm just hoping that Hardenstein's injury, I know it's lingering. Like, I want to say I hope it's not lingering, but I know it is. If anyone saw him today, it was definitely bothering him, and that's part of the reason he probably didn't close out the game or really played much in the second half. Precious was out there mostly. So if Hardenstein's injury continues to bother him and makes him miss a few more games, our lineups are going to look a little bit crazy. I mean, they'll probably have Sims back in that starting lineup. It's good that we have Sims, honestly. And I've also seen a few people saying we should sign back Taj Gibson, which is hilarious because I don't know what he's doing right now. They might be considering it, though. Kareem said Fournier time. Honestly, if Josh Hart is going to be starting, he's going to be in that starting lineup, Fournier might get some minutes. It might happen. Because if Josh Hart's starting, we have McBride at the backup point guard, Grimes shooting guard. You got Precious. Obviously, he's going to be the center. And we don't know about that 3-4 spot, really. But obviously, Tibbs does his nine-man rotation, so you'll have some starters in there as well. Probably OG filling in those extra minutes with the bench unit, or could be Josh Hart. That's something we could see. JW said we need to get DeRozan and Drummond. I've seen a lot of people say, I've seen a lot of people mention both of these guys, honestly. DeRozan, I've seen more of his rumors when he initially said he's interested in coming to New York, or where he'd prefer to come to New York. His rumors have died down a little bit, but it's interesting if you say that, because I don't know. Personally, I don't think we need DeRozan. I like the unit that we have right now, and if we're going to upgrade, I would rather upgrade for Murray, personally, instead of DeRozan. But Drummond could be a real option right there. Like I mentioned before, we're slacking on our center positioning. So adding another center, especially an experienced one like Drummond, it wouldn't hurt at all. I'd be curious to know like how we would get him exactly, though. Benjamin said, "What's up with the Knicks big men and injuries this year?" I wish I knew, Benjamin. It's been really hard between, when it was first announced that Mitchell Robinson was going to be out for the rest of the season. That was a real killer, and I know a lot of people were, doubting the Knicks when that happened, and they were just questioning everything. When I heard that he was going to be out for the rest of the season, for a second I thought our season was over, because Mitch played a huge part of our starting lineup, a huge part of our team, our defense. He was an anchor. But then you had Hardenstein, who stepped up completely and was probably the most perfect replacement you could have had for Mitch. And now he's dealing with his own injury. It's lingering. He's trying to play through it. And now you have Randle, who just dislocated his shoulder. I hate that this happened, because as I'm watching the play, I'm telling him, pass it out, pass out the rock. You had players on the three-point line, but Randle's an aggressive, physical player, so he wanted to get to the hoop, and it was just such a bad fall for him, a really awkward fall. And he basically tried to fall on his arms, and I think that the impact was too hard on his arms and basically dislocated his shoulder. You're not really supposed to land like that when you're falling down, and it was a really tough landing for him. Tim Savage edit said, who should start in the playoffs, Robinson or Hardenstein? Yeah, so I was actually asked this question a few days ago, and here's a scenario for me. If Robinson can come back, I would say like 10 to 15 games before the season ends and we go into the postseason, I'd say um keep him on the bench those first 15 games or those first 10 games before the postseason starts. And then when the playoffs begin again, honestly, I would say put Robinson back in that starting unit. We know Hartenstein can play with both units, the bench and the starters, but we're not so sure about Robinson. And that's my preference right there. I'd say we start with Robinson, but it can really go either or. But they've both been great from what we've seen. Hardenstein's been a real factor in our winning streak and our success this past month. We've won 6 in a row now. I think we're 11-2 with OG. OG's made a huge impact as well. Benjamin also said those who diss the trade don't know ball. Yeah, I definitely think a lot of people diss the OG trade at first because they were going to be losing their favorite players like RJ and Quickly. A lot of people favorited both those guys. So that's mainly the reason everyone hated the trade. And even I was pretty much just upset about Quickly and I was upset. So you're right, though. This trade has completely changed our team. It's impacted us for the better. This is one of the best trades, honestly. It's going to go down as one of the best trades in probably Knicks history just because OG Anunoby has made such a real difference. We're the number one defense in the team. We're the number one defense in the league right now. And before the OG trade, we were probably at the bottom of the league. We were struggling. There were a lot of games that we were just not playing any defense at all. And ever since we got him, it's been defense all throughout the game. Ace said, "Hey Millie, my favorite fellow Knicks fan, how's it going? What do you think about the way our Knicks been playing?" What's up, Ace? It's going pretty good. I'd say we just got our 6th win in a row, except I am upset that we lost Julius Randle. Didn't want the game to end that way. Every time we play the Miami Heat, someone gets injured. You guys know, the last time we played them in the playoffs, like most of our guys pretty much got their ankles stepped on, and it was brutal and it was ugly. I remember Julius Randle got hurt. I think Bam stepped on Jalen Brunson's ankles and Grimes. I don't know. There were so many injuries from that playoff series, and our guys still fought through it. They still fought through it, and they got to a game 6. But I'm really proud of the way the Knicks have been playing, to answer your question. They've been really great. This has been probably the best month ever just because we're on a 6-game win streak. I think we're 11-2 since the OG trade. It's been great, and it's fun to watch Knicks basketball. If you would have told me like 4 years ago, or I would say 5 years ago, 2019, 2018, that we'd be seeing such a successful Knicks team and we'd have a star in our team, I would just probably call you crazy, because back then, 2018, 2019 Knicks, they were a mess, and it wasn't fun to watch them back then because every single time they played, you knew at the back of your head it was going to be a loss. You didn't expect them to win games, especially not against good teams. But we just beat the Denver Nuggets by 38 points, and we just beat the Miami Heat. They were both in the NBA Finals last season, and we beat them both. It's crazy. It's crazy how life works. A few years later, things change. We're doing good. Tim Savage said, just need a good point guard from the bench so the starters can get rest for the playoffs. Yeah, right now, McBride, he's our backup point guard, and he's been doing pretty good, I'd say, since, he's been promoted to that role. There are some games where he doesn't have that much offensive production. So that's the only thing that worries me, is that by the time playoffs come, he's not able to score the ball, basically. We need guys that can score the ball. That was probably the biggest issue in the playoffs last season. The Miami Heat series specifically, is that no one else besides Jalen Brunson scored the ball. He was carrying, and we need guys that will show up this year. Guys that will show up in the playoffs. So it's definitely a possibility we do get another point guard from a different team. There's been a lot of rumors about Malcolm Brogdon. I've supported that trade. I would like to have Brogdon on the team. I've seen a few people mention Alec Burks. He's been on the Knicks before. Even some of you guys are mentioning a few more point guards I've seen you guys say in the comments here. Brian said 14 games in and it's the best trade in Knicks history. I said it could go down as one of the best. Like, I think overall when we look at it in like 10 years or like 20 years, we're going to say this was a really good trade for us because just look at the upside. Like, we went from having RJ Barrett and comparing him to OG, it's just they're completely two different players, and OG brings a real impact. So it was a really good trade for us. He plays defense. He can score the ball. I really like how he's been coming into his own on the offensive side. He's taking the ball and he's scoring it. He's making space. He's really just making plays for himself if he's not getting past the ball. Tonight, let's see how much he had. Tonight he had 19 points and he was 8 for 14 from the field. Again, he doesn't take a lot of shots, but he will be so efficient with shooting. 8 for 14, that's great. He was 2 for 5 from the three-point line, and he had 4 assists. He only had 1 rebound, which is actually really surprising. I thought he grabbed a few more, but he had 2 steals, and he was a plus 13 on the plus minus. He's just been great, and I wouldn't declare it as the best trade, obviously, right now, but I'd say it'll go down as one of the best, or one of the best with the biggest upside for us. Big task at hand said Miami Heat streams hate me. Oh, I don't even want to deal with any Miami Heat fans. I've been going at them like the past few days on Twitter, or X, some call it, and they're some crazy people, I would say. I definitely think they're very passionate, I'll say that, and I don't want to say annoying, but they definitely really love their Heat team, and can't blame them. We're the same way about our Knicks. Benjamin said, in 2019, you would have thought the star in 2024 would be RJ. Exactly. It's crazy. It's just crazy how things change. Back then, we get RJ Barrett, and we think in a few years he's going to be our star player, and now he's not on the Knicks. Tim Savage said Quentin Grimes been going off lately. Yeah, he's definitely been going off. And tonight he had 12 points in 24 minutes. He was 3 for 6 from the field, 2 for 5 from the three-point line, and he was 4 for 8 from the free throw line, which is, it really bugged me when he missed his free throws. I think he missed 3 in a row from the line, and he's a pretty good free throw shooter, and he's a great shooter in general, so it bugged me when he missed 4 free throws. He's got to be better there, but I do love the fact that he's attacking the basket and he's drawing the contact. I love to see that from him. In the past, I've always said he's such an underrated player at driving to the basket, and he needs to do it more, and that's exactly what he did tonight. I mean, he shot 8 free throws. He only made 4, but still, getting to the line is impressive, and I hope he can continue to do that. I was talking with my dad during the game that basically he has to step up for what we're missing from Immanuel Quickley, and he has to try to become the player that Immanuel Quickley was for us off the bench. And do I think he can do it? I have hope that he can. He's a great shooter. We know he can score the ball. We've seen many games where he's scored the ball before. It's the only question I have is, can he do it on a consistent basis for us? And I'm not saying 20 every game or even 15 every game, but 12 to 13, 14 points off the bench for us every game is helpful, and it could really help our team, to especially the starters, give them that break, give them that help. Let's see some more comments over here. Yeah, Brian said he's been efficient. I agree, it's a good trade. Oh yeah, he's talking about OG. Yeah, OG's been super efficient. I just, like, I can't emphasize it enough how efficient he is. He doesn't take too many shots, And he might not always score the most points, but he is so efficient with his scoring. And that's what matters. Ace said, I think DeMar's too old. He's like 100-year-olds. I'll pass. Yeah, I think he's 35 or 34. He is definitely getting older. And that's the thing that concerns me, is that if we're going to be trading our first round picks, or just any of our picks, we're trading it for a guy who is going to be getting older and older. I don't really see the upside in that. We're trading away future picks for someone who probably has like 3 good years left in them. DeMar is still a great player, and I just don't know if it's really worth it, if it's worth to doing that. Benjamin said, nah, we want Miami to get 8th seed and knock out Boston. Yeah, and I just, with the playoffs, I do not want to face Miami the first round, or I think we'll have to face them the second round depending on what happens. But if we face them the first round, it is going to be so physical once again, how it was last year. And like, I hate to say it, but they really injure our guys. They really get into them, and I don't want that to happen again. I really don't. I'd rather face anyone else. I mean, obviously not Boston, because we're like 1-3 against Boston this season, but Miami's very physical, and it would be a fun rematch rivalry, but I don't think I want them in the first round. They would probably take the life out of the Knicks players and beat them up in that first round. And we need it. We need to save our energy, because we are going to make it to the conference finals, guys. We're gonna be headed there. I have confidence that we can do it. It's gonna be tough though, because as we all know now, Julius Randle has dislocated his shoulder, and the timeline I'm expecting is 4 to 6 weeks out. Could be more, it could be less. We're hoping it's not more though. Google does say, someone mentioned, Google says that a dislocated right shoulder takes longer. I'm actually going to look it up really quick. I've had a dislocated right shoulder, not right shoulder. I've had a dislocated shoulder before, and I literally popped it back in. Like, a doctor had to do it for me, but it's crazy that we kind of just, I know a few people have done that before too. We just pop it back in and we go about our daily life, but these guys, they can't do that. They need to take these injuries seriously. So, they're gonna take some time to help him rehab and whatever physical therapy he has to go through. Yeah, so when you look it up on Google, it says dislocated shoulder recovery takes up to 12 weeks. And I don't think that it will take that much time for Julius Randle. I don't think it'll take that much time at all, because 12 weeks is that's pretty much the rest of the season, I would say. I mean, that's like what? That's 3 months right there. And then we have February, March, April. Yeah, we're looking towards the end of the season he'd be coming back, if that were true. Oh, Mark said Jordan Clarkson. Yeah, I think he's talking about when we were mentioning potential players we could trade for still, and we need to. Jordan Clarkson is also another player I've seen mentioned before, and I think I'm all for that as well. He's a great player, and he will give you buckets. He will definitely give you buckets, especially if he's going to be coming off the bench. That's super helpful. And I think we'd have to give up a first round pick for him, though. So it all depends on who the Knicks are willing to give up first round picks for. Like, are they willing to give it up for Murray? Are they willing to give it up for Brogdon? I would just hope that if they're willing to do it for Clarkson and Brogdon, that they should try to do it for Murray. I'm not sure if anyone is still on that train right there and wants Murray on the Knicks. I know we all did like a few days ago, but since the Knicks have been playing really well, we kind of have just put the trade targets aside, and we haven't really been focusing on them that much. We're focusing on the present, and we're enjoying our Knicks right now. But in the long term, right, obviously, in the playoffs, you still would like that you would like another shot creator, another player that will score the ball and that can handle the ball. And That's kind of what DeJounte Murray is all about. Brian said we do need to make another trade to bolster the bench and to get the scoring off the bench we lost with quickly gone. I think Brogdon would be perfect for us. Get rid of Grimes and a first round all day. Yeah, I completely agree. I support the Brogdon trade. I don't know if there's been much movement with it, if there's been any progress with it. I haven't seen anything. It's been quiet, honestly. The trade rumors have kind of died down, and the deadline, I think, is February 8th. I'm actually going to fact check that because we don't have much time. Yeah, let's see right here. It says the trade deadline is February 8th. So we got about 11 days. That's still some time to make progress, but haven't heard much about any trade targets from official reporters. And I do support the Brogdon trade, though. I would love to have someone off the bench like him that will consistently give you 15 a game, and that could basically replace Emmanuel Quickly. He would be a direct replacement for Quickly, and Quickly was great for us. We definitely need someone to replicate his scoring. Oh man, Benjamin said since Julius won't be in the All-Star game, Boston will get 3 All-Stars. I didn't even think about that part yet. If he is injured, someone else will get the nod instead of him. And yeah, it might go to Boston. That's crazy. And that really sucks for him, honestly. He definitely looks forward to that. You know, he was an all-star for the past 2 years, and he was probably looking forward to it again this year, but sucks that this had to happen, truly. Especially since it was so late in the game, guys. There was like 2 minutes left, I think, or it was 42 minutes left. I don't remember, but it was really late in the game in that fourth quarter, and that play happened, and it could have been avoided, but he wanted to get to the basket, and I literally was yelling at him on the TV screen, pass it out, because I just didn't want him to get into, like, you could see where he was going. You could see that something was about to happen. He was basically driving into Jamie, so it was a really bad hit, really bad fall. Tim Savage said Bruce Brown would be a better fit than Brogdon for our Knicks, in my opinion. Brown has finals experience. Yeah, Bruce Brown has championship pedigree, and he definitely has experience. But personally, I think he is a player way too similar to Josh Brown. A great hustle guy, a guy that can score for you. I think he's averaging 12 off the bench. Brogdon, I would say, is a more reliable scorer. Although I was looking at Bruce Brown's game log, and before he got traded to, one second. Before he was traded, he was having some pretty good games. I was looking at, he had like 15 points, 16 points, 10 games where he was scoring over 10, and I'd have to look into him more. Personally, I think I'm set on Brogdon, and Bruce Brown is another option. And he actually said it himself. He is a Tom Thibodeau type of player. He'll do anything Thibodeau asks him to do, which is really interesting. It's been a while since I've heard someone advocate to be on the Knicks, so it was definitely interesting to hearing that report come out. JW said it's probably going to be 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, that's what I'm assuming as well. I've seen a few people say that on Twitter, and I mentioned it before. Google says 8 to 12 weeks, but again, I don't think it's going to take that long. And when this stream is over, I'm just going to look up a few players that have dealt with the same injury and kind of estimate, how long they took as well. NBA Now said, feel for the Knicks, hope Randle heals up quick. I really hope he heals up quick as well. And I think he will. He's a really strong player, a really strong person. He bounced back from that ankle surgery. Obviously this was his bounce back season. He did start off really slow and really bad shooting percentages wise, but not he's still had a great he's still been having a great season, an all-star season, and I think that he will bounce back from this injury like he bounced back from his ankle surgery. He'll do it. Yeah, and Mark said if anybody can do it, it's Randle. Let's not forget he definitely got Mamba mentality. Agreed. You know, he tries his best to be mentally strong. Sometimes he loses his cool, but he's definitely working on it. And Kobe was his teammate, his friend. It's funny that we're just talking about that because it was actually it was what was it 3 years since Kobe passed away yesterday. Man, time goes by so fast. Anyone else see that 4 Villanova players are on the Knicks roster? Yeah, Knicks fans know about it. All the Knicks fans know about the Nova guys. It's funny. We talk about it a lot, and we call them the Nova guys. And you just commented all of them. Donte, Brunson, Hart, Arcidiacono. Yeah, those are our Nova guys. 3 of them are in the rotation. Not so much for our yeah, so quick question, Android or iOS? Which one do I prefer? iOS. I definitely prefer using iPhone more than Android. Ace said Millie Boston beat us before the OG trade. I believe the whole NBA fear now. Yeah. When's the next time we play Boston? I'm gonna look that up really quick. Knicks Boston next game. Because you're right. The first few times we played Boston, we didn't have OG, and our team was completely different, guys. We had RJ, we had Quickly, we had Mitchell Robinson as our starting center, which we don't have now. Team was different, and I think the next time we play Boston is going to be the ultimate test, like the very true test to see if we can actually compete with them. Because ultimately, we're hoping that we can make it to the conference finals, and they're the team that's going to be there, or the Bucks. And we've beat the Bucks, but we I don't think we've beat Boston this season. But let me check. We might have beat them once, but the first few games were literally the first week of the season, and we're going to be it's going to be a completely different fight because we have OG and we have different players now. I think we can compete with them. I definitely think we can win the next time we play against them, which will be February 24th. Yeah, so in about a month, we're going to play them again. Mark said, Knicks fan, please no more booing Randle. Please now. We are going to feel how much we appreciate him. Yeah, I don't think anyone's booed Randle for a while now. He's been playing pretty great. But definitely the social media comments are there, the disrespectful ones about him. I've still been seeing them every game. So let's wish him a healthy recovery and prayers up for Randle with his shoulder. Hopefully it's not that long of a recovery. I'm guessing 4 to 6 weeks, but we won't know for sure. Every injury is different, pretty much, the timeline and everything. I mean, when Mitchell Robinson got hurt, we did not know it was going to be the rest of the season he'd be out. That was a shocker. I really hope that Randle does not have the same faith. But by the way, Mitchell Robinson is actually expected to come back this season. If you didn't see, the NBA declined the Knicks. They applied for, I think it was like a disabled player's contract. They declined that because they think that Mitchell Robinson will be able to come back this season. So that gives me hope. Definitely gives me hope. Brian said, I agree, Bruce Brown and Josh Hart are the same player. Yeah, they're very, very similar, and they're both 6'4". They both can play different positions when they're forced to. And I don't think we need another Josh Hart. I mean, Josh Hart has been great, having Bruce Brown, he'll give you buckets. He'll give you, I think he's averaging 12 a game right now. But I would prefer someone off the bench that can score a little bit more than that. Brogdon's at 15 points per game on the season right now. Tim Savage said if Lakers get Donovan Mitchell, it will be scary. Yeah, I've been hearing some rumors that like they're looking for, basically another star type player to add to that roster. It's just crazy how many star players the Lakers go through every season, especially the past few seasons. And they're thinking about, I don't know if it's official reports. It might have just been rumors, but you mentioned it. They're looking at Donovan Mitchell. They're looking at DeJounte Murray. It will definitely be scary. But also, again, if Donovan Mitchell goes to the West, the Cavs pretty much not on our radar at all. I think they would jump down in the standings by a lot. And that'll be great for us. We become one of the top dogs of the East. Hit him up, said Lucas scored 73 against the Hawks. I'm pretty sure Murray going to be traded in a couple of days. Yeah, I think a trade is coming for him, but I don't think it'll be the Knicks, honestly. The Knicks, I think they've said it themselves that they're not really looking to make that big of a trade right now. Like multiple first-round picks and key players like Grimes. I don't think they're going to do that right now. I think his cost is really high, and a lot of teams are actually looking at him. Like pretty much everyone in the East is looking at him, and then you have the Lakers as well. So a lot of people are interested in him, and I don't see the Knicks winning that fight right there. I don't see them competing and putting themselves at the top there for him. Brian said, rest in peace, Kobe, and he's a top 10 player of all time. Yeah. Rest in peace, Kobe. It was the anniversary of his death and his daughter's death yesterday. It's just crazy to me that happened in 2020 and we're now in 2024 now. Time goes by really quick, and it's still sad that he's not on this planet anymore along with his daughter. His daughter was a great basketball player. She definitely would have made the WNBA. Mason said Randle will come back even stronger. What's up, Mason? And I definitely agree with that statement. He is a strong person in general. He's a strong player, a strong person. He's going to fight through this, especially because I know he wants to. The Knicks have been playing so well this season. We're establishing ourselves as one of the best teams in the East. I know he's going to want to fight his injury and, work through the recovery to get back to this team. We want to make a difference. We want to make it past the second round this season. We can do it. And I think hopefully Randle is strong enough to come back and quicker than the estimated timeline. Bid G Block said we beat them in preseason. Yeah, the Celtics, I think you're referring to. Knicks 100 GM makes dig that much deeper as a team. We will be fine. Yeah, pretty much that's what Tom Thibodeau was implying in the post-game interviews. Next man up is his mentality. He's obviously concerned about Randle, but he has to focus on getting the team right and putting players into the right position now, because without Randle for a few weeks, we are going to be basically undermanned. We're undermanned right now in a few positions. The center position, now the power forward position. But I'm guessing OG will be our new starting forward. And then we'll have Josh Hart inserted into that starting lineup at the 3. So our bench could use another scorer. We might see another trade go down because we really need another scorer off the bench if that happens. If Josh Hart's going to be in the starting unit for the next few weeks, we need that. Let's see. Brian said X-rays say it didn't show much damage and MRI will determine how long he will be out. So that's good news. Yeah, so we're looking out for the MRI right now. I don't know if there's been any update on it. I haven't been on Twitter since I started this live stream, which was 44 minutes ago. I just started as soon as I got the Woj tweet that he dislocated his right shoulder. I'm really glad it wasn't any sort of tear in his shoulder, something that would require like a big surgery. But yeah. Brian said it sucks he won't play Monday while I'm in Charlotte to watch us. Oh yeah, that does suck. But I hope you enjoy the game Monday, and you will get to see Jalen Brunson. He's been great. He's been truly great. You'll see him shine once again on Monday. Hit him up said the Lakers don't have enough picks to trade for Donovan Mitchell. That's what I was wondering, because I know they said they want to trade for another star type player, but I don't think the Lakers have much assets, honestly. I don't know how that'd be possible. Brian said Donovan Mitchell is not going to get traded. The Cavs are playing well. I highly doubt they want to break that up now. Yeah, surprisingly, the Cavs are still managing through the East, and they're still keeping up despite their own injuries. Well, partly because Donovan Mitchell has been on a rampage. He's been playing really, really well. I don't know his specific stats. I think he's averaging like 28 per game, somewhere along those lines, and he's been going crazy for them. So I don't know if they would want to trade him because he's carrying them right now, and it's not like they're at the bottom of the East. I'm pretty sure they're somewhere around where we are, maybe 5th or 6th. I'm gonna look up the East standings right now. Hopefully this is accurate because we just won, so I don't know if it's updated. Yeah, this is updated. So yeah, the Cavaliers are right behind us. They're number 5, we're number 4. Donovan Mitchell's carrying them. I don't see why they would want to trade him right now because he's literally keeping them within, playoff range right now. Benjamin said it's kind of nice to play a crummy team like Charlotte. Yeah, it's nice to play the bad teams, and the Knicks have won against every single team so far that are below 500, so they take care of business. I'm expecting the same against Charlotte. They truly take care of business, and I love this saying. I don't know who started it, or it's probably just always been a saying, but don't play with your food, and that's something that athletes say, and the Knicks have been pretty much doing that. They're not playing with their food. I think they're 19-0 against teams that are under 500 for their record. So they always take care of business against the bad teams. Tim said, basketball gods have blessed us with an easy schedule. Yeah, our schedule this month and I think next month as well is pretty good. We have a lot of home games, and we deserve it because our Knicks team has been on the road, especially the beginning of the season, for so long. They were on the road way too much, and now we're dealing with a lot of home games, which I love. I think they're 16 and 5 at home now. Have to double check that record, but who doesn't love playing at the Garden? I'm sure they love being home. I'm sure they love hearing their fans at MSG. It's nice to be home and play those games. But I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the game because I did get straight into the Julius Randle news. This was supposed to be a post game, so I'm gonna talk about the game a little bit more now. This was a wild game. The playoff intensity was there. Truly, it felt like this was a playoff game from last year where we played them, and it was very physical, and I mean you can really see it. If you watched it, these guys were going at it, and Jalen Brunson did his thing once again. He continues to impress, and it's just so fun watching him play. 32 tonight for him. He was 4 for 8 from the 3-point line, 4 for 5 from the free throw line, and along with his 32 points, he had 8 assists and 5 rebounds, 1 steal, and 1 block. I don't remember when Jalen got a block, but good for him. He got a block. And Randle, before he went out with his injury, he was also doing his thing. He had 19 points. He was 6 for 14 from the field, 3 for 4 from the three-point line. Really surprised about his three-point shooting tonight. He, obviously we all know this season he hasn't been taking that many threes. His percentage has gone down, but 75% from him tonight he was 3 for 4. And he also had 3 assists and 9 rebounds. So he almost had a double-double before he went out. And let's see, Hardenstein had 4 points. And he also had 6 rebounds. He didn't really play that much. In the second half, it was all Precious Achiuwa out there. But again, if you didn't see, it looked like his injury was bothering him again. It sucks to hear that, he's still dealing with that. It looks like it's lingering, and we missed him the past few games because of his injury. We might miss him again if that acts up again. So we have to watch out for that. We have to watch out for any Hardenstein injury news. OG, he was great tonight. I mean, so many times tonight, OG impressed me because, even though we've had him for nearly a month now, it's still impressive to see what he can do on the offensive end, especially because he didn't really do much of that in Toronto, basically. He didn't really have much of an offensive role. He was more there for defense, and that was his specialty, but he's really coming into his own on the offensive end. He had 19 today. He was 8 for 14 from the field, 2 for 5 from the three-point line, and he's pretty much just shooting everywhere on the court. He is shooting three-pointers. He is shooting from he's shooting mid-range shots. He's dunking it. He's driving to the basket, and he's also drawing contact, getting to the free throw line. Like, he can do everything. And it was questionable when, a lot of Knicks fans questioned this trade, mainly because they didn't think that OG can gather that much offensive production. But he's proving everyone wrong. He can do it. Nearly 20 points for him last game. It was a huge game for him last game against the Nuggets, and he's just pretty much proving everyone wrong that he does have an offensive bag, and we saw it tonight. He had everything. I love when he's able to create his own shot and he's able to create a shot off the dribble. You have your third scorer right there behind Brunson and Randle. It could definitely be OG. I definitely think that he has more to his offensive game than maybe we're seeing, and I love it when he scores the ball. And I would say that most of his shots were just smart shots. They're very smart. He doesn't take bad shots. He doesn't take a lot either. He took 14, but most of them were smart shots, and that's why he was 18. They were good shots. He didn't force up anything, and I just can't emphasize enough that OG is very efficient and he's making the right plays, taking the right shots. Yeah, Artifact said OG has been great. He really has. I don't think he's really had a necessarily a bad game since the trade, honestly. And even if it has been a bad game, it was probably just a quiet game. He has poise in his game. He's a very, very smart player. And on the defensive end, he's been huge for us. Last game, I think I didn't get to watch much of last game, but I think my dad mentioned he had 6 steals. And if that's true, that's crazy. That's really crazy. Ace said, everyone thinks I'm crazy because I believe Zach LaVine is the final missing piece. I don't necessarily think that's crazy to think. I've seen a lot of people say that as well. I haven't seen it lately though, and I think mainly those rumors died down because he's with a different agency. I think it's Clutch, and the owner of that I think is Rich Paul is his name. Rich Paul does not clash well with Leon Rose. I think they have some sort of history there. And I'm pretty sure that's why the rumors died down for Zach LaVine. It's all the politics, guys. It's all the agency stuff that they have to work through. But otherwise, I mean, Zach LaVine's a great player as well. He's a great scorer, and I thought about him for a long time as well. Not recently, but I did think about him. And if the agency stuff didn't matter, would I want him on the Knicks? Possibly, but he's also, isn't he injury prone? I mean, is he playing right now? I'm pretty sure he is injury prone, and I don't really want to trade for someone that is that injury prone. But I mean, feel free to comment reasons why you would want Zach LaVine on the team. I'm curious to see what you'd say. Amesh said the final missing piece might be Murray. Honestly, that's it might not be the final piece because we still, I think, need a backup. I don't know if we need a backup center because we have Precious, but we still need another center because with Mitchell Robinson out, Hartenstein possibly, because 1 second, guys. We're back. Okay. Sorry, I had to take a water break. My throat was getting very, very dry. But what were we saying? Oh, the final piece might be Murray. Yeah, some people think that. Some people think that we shouldn't trade for him and we should wait until the summer to wait for someone else. I think Murray would be a good fit here. He is a great two-way player, a great ball handler, can score the ball, obviously. I think he'd be a good fit, and there's not a lot of guys on the market besides him that we could go for. So if the Knicks want to go all in for a guy like Murray right now, maybe they should. But again, I also see the point of view of people that say wait until the summer. We can wait for bigger names. I don't know. People have said Joel Embiid. So it's definitely a big decision there to go all in for Murray and give them multiple first round picks because I'm pretty sure we'd have to. And probably Grimes, Fournier. Fournier doesn't matter, but Grimes has been playing pretty good recently. Brian said LaVine is not the missing piece. He is not efficient, jacks up too many shots, and is not a good defender, and is injury prone. Yeah, so Brian, I can definitely see where you stand on that. Who was it that wanted? Oh, Ace is the one who said they wanted Zach LaVine. So Ace, I'm gonna look out for your comment because I'd like to see your pros to getting Zach LaVine because Brian pretty much summed it up. He's injury prone. He probably does take too many shots. I don't watch too many Bulls games to know, but yeah. Artifact said McCall or Mitchell are the final piece. Really interesting. A lot of Bridges rumors have been popping up, and it would be crazy if we got McCall Bridges because then we'd have 5 Nova guys on the team. We'd have Bridges, Brunson, Hart, Donte, Arcidiacono. Yeah, we'd have 5 Nova guys, and what a reunion right there. Those guys won the chip together. I think that'd be the first time in NBA history where there's 5 guys from the same college team to win a championship to be on the same NBA team. I don't know. That'd be crazy. He's a great player as well. And the Nets have been suffering though. We know that. We just beat them the other night. Nets have been suffering. So I definitely think they're looking to deal him if they want to get back some picks and look towards the future. It'll be interesting to see. Tim Savage said nobody talking about Donte DiVincenzo. Crazy disrespect from the sharpshooter. He's a big reason why we're winning too. Yeah, 100%. I didn't get to him yet. I did talk about Randle, Anunoby, Hartenstein, Brunson, and I was just about to get to him when I started looking at the comments again. But you're right. DiVincenzo has been completely underrated this past month. He's been underrated. Super, super great for us. He had 11 tonight. I know it's not a lot of points, but everyone that watched the game knows that the shots he hit, they come in at the right exact time. He hits those threes that we need. He was 3 for 6 overall from the 3-point line, 4 for 10 from the field. And he had 2 assists, 1 rebound. He usually grabs a few more rebounds. We know he does that. But he's been great. The past few games, the past month, I'd say, he's been a really solid starter, solid shooting guard for us. And I know everyone's looking at the trades for Murray and other guys, but right now having Donte DiVincenzo in that starting spot, I think it's really solid for our team, and he's a really solid player. Like he will make those baskets when you need him to. He makes the baskets to get you back in the game. It's great. He's been great. Now we have Chet in the chat. So, hello, Chet. Oh man, my light turned off. Hold up, guys. Gonna turn this on really quick. Anyways, Chet, what are you doing in a Knicks chat? He said we're forming a dynasty here in OKC. All right. Shouldn't you be practicing? I don't think you should be in a Twitter or our YouTube Lives chat right now. What? Shea and Chet is the second coming of Kobe and Shaq in terms of quality. Honestly, that's. I mean, Shea's been great. Can Chet live up to that potential though? Shea's been great though. Artifact said Donte been amazing, no doubt, but him coming off the bench will take us to a different dimension if we add that star 2 guard. Yeah, we were just speaking about that too. It's like if you add Murray to the starting lineup, you push Donte to the bench, and that could also help us because he's obviously great and he's been great and he could score the ball. So if you have him lead that second, the bench unit, that could be helpful. That he's played backup point guard before. I think that was his role on the Warriors. So it'd be really interesting if we were to get Murray to see how that'd work out for Donte and if he'd still be effective off the bench. I mean, that's where he started off this season. He wasn't always a starter. Remember, Grimes was a starter, but he's fit really well with the starting lineup. And if he goes back to the bench, I just hope that it would be the same production we'd be getting from him. Brian said, to me, if we are healthy, the final missing piece would be Malcolm Brogdon, a guy who can come off the bench and play with starters and give you 14 to 15 a game and good defense and leadership. Agreed. Fully agree. I'm all for the Brogdon. I'm all for getting him because I'm looking at it long term that Brogdon is going to be that player that can consistently score for you, especially he has playoff experience. He was with the Celtics last year and he has a lot of experience. He's actually pretty much a veteran in this. Well, he's not a veteran. Isn't he? I think he's 30. Let's see how old he is. He's 31 years old. So yeah, I guess you can consider him a veteran, but he's still putting up 15 a game. And I like the fact that he has experience and he could be a leader for that bench unit. And that's what we need in the playoffs. When the pressure is on, you need guys to step up. You need them to be a leader and actually contribute. Chet is going crazy in the comments right now. Wouldn't trade Chet for Steph. Come on. A said McCall is interesting though. It is interesting. I like him as a player. I'm just not sure how likely that is. You never know though. You could probably get all of Jalen Brunson's friends on the team. We already got Hart. We got Ryan. We got Donte. Might as well add Bridges. Chet said Philly with no Maxey, Embiid, and Harris is tied with the Nuggets entering the fourth quarter. How's that possible? Who's stepping up for them right now? I'm not watching the game. Obviously, I'm on the stream, but yeah, I heard before they started they were without Embiid, without Maxey, without Tobias Harris. So how are they tied with the Nuggets? What is going on with the Nuggets, man? We just blew the Nuggets out. We beat them by 38, and now they're tied with a Sixers team that I don't even know who's stepping up for them right now with all those guys out. Tim Savage said Brunson should have started for the All-Star game. Snub. Don't get me started, Tim. Don't even get me started, because I already made a video about this on my Instagram. If you guys didn't see it, check it out, mill.media on Instagram. He deserved that starting spot. He truly did. And everyone let him down. Like, I'm not going to pinpoint it on just Knicks fans, and I would say it's everyone. Like, the media, the Knicks media, his own media, and I would just say everything, because his numbers, I would say, are very similar with Damian Lillard. Okay, they're very, very similar, but their shooting percentages are different. Jalen Brunson is shooting 48% from the field, and he's shooting 42% from the three-point line. Damian Lillard is shooting 42% from he's shooting 42% from the field and like 34% from the three-point line. So those percentages are very different. Like, Jalen Brunson's three-point percentage is Damian Lillard's field goal percentage. Damian Lillard is not having one of the best seasons of his career. With his percentages being that low, 34% from the three-point line and 42% from the field, they're low. Those are similar to like his rookie numbers from his rookie year. He's definitely not having one of the best seasons of his career, but Jalen Brunson is. Jalen Brunson is having the best season of his career high in assists, career high in points per game, and it's only going up. Like, I think when he finishes the season, it'll be at 27 points per game, somewhere around that, because this is like his 5th game in a row where he scored above 30. So it's just going to keep going up, honestly. I don't know if it'll hit 30 at the end of the season. It probably won't, but I would say 27, 28 maybe. But you're right. He deserved that starter spot. And I was talking about it before. The All-Star starters, it's just a popularity contest, because the fan votes account for 50% of that whole weight thing. And Damian Lillard has a lot of fans. He has 10 million followers on Instagram. Jalen Brunson has not even a million. He has like 360K. Damian Lillard is he's a wide known player. International, like, countries know about him. I don't know if Jalen Brunson is that widely known around the globe, but it's basically a popularity contest. I'll end my rant now, but he should have got it. He should have got the start. This is one of his best. This is the best season of his career so far, and I just wish he did get the start. I mean, who knows if he'll get another chance to? I expect him to play the same next year and the next few years, but I mean, who knows if he'll get this chance again? Chess said, "Who the F is Paul Reed? He has 23." That sounds very familiar. I'm actually gonna see Paul Reed. Who is that? Hold up. He has 23? Dang. He's 24. And someone just tweeted, updated MVP ladder. Number 1, Paul Reed. Number 2, Joel Embiid. Number 3, SGA. Number 4, Jokic. That's crazy. Paul Reed really stepping up for them. I actually want to go see the ending of that game. So I'm going to end this stream pretty quick. Just read the rest of these comments here. Let's see. Someone said, I think another two-way guy is something we need that can score when Brunson and Randle aren't feeling it or have increased defensive pressure while also being another great defender next to OG. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Part of the reason I want another shot creator on this team is so that Randle and Brunson don't have to force it when they're not feeling it, because look at today. In the beginning of the game, basically the entire starting lineup could not score the ball. They were struggling from the field, from the three-point line. Randle didn't get it going until a little after, and even Brunson was struggling. He was missing a few shots. So when that happens, you need another guy that can score the ball and basically get the team going. Because at that point, it was the bench that got the team going. When the bench players were inserted into the game, they provided that spark, and that's why we should have another two-way player that can score the ball, another shot creator, another ball handler. Mark said, Big Ragu, yeah. Donte DiVincenzo's nickname is the Big Ragu. And Big Nick Energy has merch that literally says Big Ragu on it, and it's just a bottle of sauce. So go check it out, bignickenergy.com. Artifact said, how do you feel about McBride? Do you think we need a vet point guard for the playoffs or throw McBride in to see if he can sink or swim? I do think we need a vet, honestly. McBride is he's been great, and I love his playing style because I think it's just improved a lot over the seasons that we've seen, and he can play defense really well. He's a pest on the defensive end, and now more recently we're seeing that he can score the ball. He can score the three ball, so I like that. But I still think that when the playoffs come around, you need someone that has the experience that could handle the pressure. So a vet PG or someone with experience would be ideal. Tim Savage said, the real question is, will Randle be ready to perform good in the playoffs? If he performed last year, we would have been in the conference finals. Yeah. I don't know, honestly. We're still trying to figure out the timeline of his injury right now with his dislocated right shoulder. We have no idea what the timeline is. I'm assuming it's 4 to 6 because I've seen a few people on X say that. And Google says 8 to 12 weeks out. If it's 8 to 12 weeks out, I don't even know if he'd be ready for the playoffs. I'm hoping it's 4 to 6 weeks, but it'll be tough to see. I think he'll bounce back from this injury, and I think he'll recover really well. But I don't think he'll be able to be at that level that he was before this injury, like the level he's at right now. It'll be hard to climb back up to that so quickly. Someone said, who's a realistic acquisition during free agency? Malcolm Brogdon, Alec Burks, I would say. I've seen a few people say Jordan Clarkson. I think those are all pretty reasonable or realistic answers. They want another shot creator, preferably off the bench, I'd say too. And at this point now with Randle's injury, you might be looking for someone that could fill in this, be in the starting lineup. So trade targets might change, and I'll get back to you on that one though, just because I think we might be seeing new trade targets after the Julius Randle injury. Let's see. Brian said, Ace, I love the Knicks. I just want to see us do well. Brunson should have been a starter, and we should have had 2 All-Stars for the first time since, I think, Melo and Amari. I think we'll still have 2 All-Stars. I think Julius Randle will still get voted in by the coaches. He just won't play because he's hurt. So he'll still be considered an All-Star, and Brunson's going to get it as well. We know he's going to get it. So I think we'll still hit that achievement. And that's crazy to think. The last time we had 2 All-Stars was Carmelo and Amari Stoudemire. Wow, what a time. That was quite a long time ago. What is that, 10 years ago? Joe said, just put trust in McBride. He's a lockdown defender and can shoot. You're completely right. He is a lockdown defender, great defender. And I kind of want to see more of him in the playoffs last year, honestly, because he didn't get much playing time in general last year. But during the playoffs, a lot of guys were struggling. So I wanted to see more from him. And we didn't really see much. So, you're right, though. I got to put trust in him, especially if we don't make a move. Have to see what he can do. Excited for Steph versus Bron tonight. Yeah. My main excitement of the day is over. The Knicks game is over, so I mean, I'll still watch that game because it's on later, but it's always interesting to see that matchup, Steph versus Bron. Always gives you flashbacks of all those finals matchups between those two. foreshadowing the play-in game. Yeah, aren't they literally like really low in the standings right now? Like play-in tournament standings. I'm gonna check right now. I haven't checked out the West standings in a while. I know that's where your team is right now, Chet. So my apologies. West NBA standings. Let's see where OKC is at. Oh, the Thunder. Wait, hold up. Oh, oh, I didn't even realize the Thunder were number one. I thought it was the Timberwolves because last time we beat the Timberwolves, they were the first. They were number one in the West. But oh, kudos to the Thunder. They're number one. Oh wow. And the Warriors are number 12. The Lakers are number 9. Oh, so is this really going to be a good game? The Warriors need help, man. They need help. Steph Curry, get Steph Curry some help. For the love of God, Denver win, please. What's the score of that game? Is it over now? Let's see. I hope it's not over. I just want to see the ending. There's 5 minutes left, and Denver's up by 4. Wow. Wait, but why? Why would you want them to win though? Why would you? Let's see. Chet said with a Philly loss, they will have the same number of wins and only 2 less losses than Knicks. Oh, that's so interesting, Chet, because don't you want the East team to win so that your team can stay in the front? I mean, I get you're doing this for the Knicks, but okay, interesting. Brian said, last question, who do you think is the best player on the team, Brunson or Randle? Personally, I think it's Brunson. And I think he's more efficient with his scoring. And that's why I say that he's a better player. Randall's great. He is an all NBA player, was an all NBA player last year. And they're both great. But personally, I think Brunson is the better player on our team. Big Frank said, I think now it'll push whatever trade we were looking to make. Yeah, I think that the past few days, the past week, the trade rumors have died down and there haven't been much progress in any reports. But now with this injury, we might see something come up really quick. Maybe tomorrow we'll see some new trade targets and trade reports coming in. Oh my God. Joe said, I'm reading 2 to 3 weeks with a dislocated shoulder, so I say in a month we get Randle. Yeah, I was looking it up on Google and it said dislocated shoulder recovery time was 8 to 12 weeks. That was only one source. So I have seen a few people say 1 month. I'm hoping it's a month because that's probably the best case scenario. A month is not that bad at all, especially because we have All-Star break coming up and he'll get time to heal then. I'm hoping it's a month, Joe. Michael said sign Melo to a 10-day contract. I'm not against that at all. Melo was one of my favorite players. He might still have it. I don't think he does workouts anymore. I mean, like, obviously he probably works out, but he doesn't do like public workouts and records them anymore. But I don't know. Maybe let's give him a chance. That there's still some guys in this league that definitely don't deserve a chance. Like, Melo deserves a chance. And the fact that there's some players in this league that are getting the chance over Melo kind of irritates me. Melo's a pure hooper, and he's going to score the ball. And that's... Brian said, see you on PC. Check at Mars about Randle. Yeah, I was on Player's Choice for one of their videos about the Knicks. Mars, I don't think he likes Julius Randle very much because he listed 40 players that were better, or 30 or 40 players that were better than Julius Randle, and it was crazy, guys. Like, I don't know. He has something against Julius Randle because I mean, there's I think Julius Randle has to be like a. Do you guys think Julius Randle is a top 30 or top 40 player in the NBA? I really have to go through it. Who would be in front of him? I would say he's definitely not top 10. I don't think he'd be top 20. He'd probably maybe be top 30. But anyways, I want to go see the end of that Denver game. I think it's about to finish. So I'm going to wrap up this stream. I appreciate everyone that joined. And before I end, I'll just reiterate the Woj tweet. The update on Julius Randle is that he suffered a dislocated right shoulder. The timelines vary. I've been seeing some people say 4 to 6 weeks, a month. I've seen others say 8 to 10 weeks. Let's hope it's not that. I'm going to say it's 4 to 6, but we will get further updates, I'm sure. I think they were going to do an MRI to see. I think that'll give us the official timeline. But yeah, awful news that he did dislocate his right shoulder and he ended the game injured. It really hurts. We did get the win, but we're going to be missing him for a few weeks. And like Tibbs says, it's the next man up. We're going to see how the Knicks adjust to this. I think we'll be good. I don't want to say I think we'll be fine because losing Julius Randle is huge, but we'll deal with it and next man up. And okay. So appreciate everyone that tuned in and commented. And there's a few more comments coming in. But if you're not subscribed already to the YouTube channel, check it out. Big Nick Energy on YouTube. And we have merch. Go to bignickenergy.com. Lots of merch for every player. OG merch, Jalen Brunson merch. I love the Jalen Brunson merch. I have like the championship shirt of him holding the trophy, and I have him doing his signature celebration. Go check it out. There's great stuff on there. You earned a sub. Great content tonight. Thank you, Brian. I'll see you guys after the next game. Wait. So let's check right here. Something really quick. And Chet is still in the chat. Chet, when's your next game? I think you need to get to your next game if you're not playing right now. The Knicks' next game is Monday against the Hornets. Someone mentioned they're going to be there. So if you're going to be there, enjoy the game. It'll be our first game without Julius Randle. Really interesting. I'm also expecting another win. We take care of business. We beat the bad teams. And let's see. Yeah, this will probably OG, JB, Devo, iHeart, Precious, the starting five. That's if Hartenstein is going to be out. We don't know if Hartenstein's going to be out. It did look like his injury was acting up again in this game. He only played 16 minutes. That might be the starting lineup on Monday, though. We'll see. Salute to everyone. Have a good night. I'll see you guys after the next one.